Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jake and welcome back to Space Engineers, where today we are going to be working on our military ship, adding all sorts of devices and, well, more importantly, weapons to it. But first things first. Last episode we added to our force field, so to speak. We've added pressurization. You can see in the bottom right, if I have this over a patch of thing where you can read it, it will say that we're at a warm temperature, but no oxygen at the moment. If we have a look at our shield pressurizer, then we're currently at 65% internal oxygen, which is not enough for us to breathe it, but it's getting there. It's slowly getting there. Yeah, so in between episodes, I created this lovely dock area, which is lowered from where the wall is, because I want it to not just be a complete flat plane. We still have the other two walls here to construct, and I'm going to need some more supplies before I start doing that. I'm going to want to build a better welder, because welding it by hand is a pain in the ass. Yeah, so we've currently got a dock for our freighter, which sits here. And we've got a dock for our military escort, which is sitting here. Now, because the freighter is connected via a connector to the base, we can just have it free floating. Pretend that it's under its own power to stay up whatsoever. Yada, yada, yada. But for the military ship, we've got these landing skids. So really all that you have to do is line up, move forward until you can't, and then disable inertia dampeners and drop and park. It's kind of good, actually. And then we've got a ramp that goes into the ship itself, like so, on one side, because if you have them on both, it's going to be a bit weird. Last episode, I tried to make a dock that had two connectors so that you connect to both of them at the same time, but that is not going to work because there is, like, no margin for error at all. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to be upgrading this military escort. So, first things first. Things that we have to note. I have added two mods. We now have a cloaking generator, which is technically too large for this thing. It's a, what is it, a 3x3? Yeah. It's too large for this military escort. We might be able to fit it on the freighter, but it's not really of any use there. And I don't know if it works on the station or not. I haven't tested it. But it's here in the event that we want a stealth ship that can stealth from visual detection. Because it also disrupts turrets, so turrets can't really fire at you. Because it stops their tracking mid-through, so that it shouldn't fire at you, but it will still fire randomly. Yeah, enough spiel about a thing we're not using today. And then we've also got some modded weapons from the OKI Grand Weapon Pack, mainly because it's not got weapon core integration, and weapon core, I want to figure out how to make base defenses work in weapon core first, because I've been trying to use it on a different server, but recent updates have thrown spanners into works all over the place. But this means that we've got plenty of weapon systems to choose from to add to our military escort. Speaking of weapon systems, we have a number of hard points. We've got two cargo containers, one here and one here, in which we can add some side guns, and then we've got room for a main gun. And of course we can edit the chassis itself to give a better view of it if we want to. The other things that we need to do, this ship is very heavy and it's operating inside a gravity field, which means that we want to upgrade every ion thruster. Right, every ion thruster, because we have, of course, tiered ion thrusters. And if we go grab our tier 2 ion engine, we can see, hang on, let's do it properly, shall we? This one. You can see that it costs a sizable chunk of thruster components in comparison to what it would cost. That's a large one. I want a regular one. Where's the regular? Do this. Right. So it's 80 thruster components for a regular, and then it's 120 for a tier 2, which counts as 4 of them. But it also requires some superconductors. Yeah. So we're going to be upgrading the thrusters. Now, we already have some additional thrusters from when we received the military escort, because I had to upgrade it in order for it to actually fly. So I'm going to go upgrade all the thrusters, and then we'll get on to the weapon systems. Okay, so we have upgraded the thrusters. They are now all tier 2, which means that we're going to get a lot more power than before. We've effectively quadrupled the amount of thrust that we've got in all directions, apart from backwards, where we've only increased it by... Oh, I can't be bothered to work out that percentage. It was 5, and now it's 15. Yeah, so we've basically multiplied it by 3 instead of 4, which is fine. I believe that... Hang on, this is 4 times 4. So we've got a bit more thrust going forward than we do backward. Or rather, we've got a bit more thrust when we want to go backward rather than go forward. But that's perfectly fine, and to be fair, is better for my kind of maneuvers, which is crashing myself into the place a lot. The amount of times I crash ships is it's a bit ridiculous. So if we get in our lovely military escort, we undock, and we start flying up, we can notice that our energy usage is at 90% of what these reactors can supply. We're currently on 2 small reactors. So if we had 2 more, then that will put it down to something like 45% of our energy just for existing. And that's not to say adding up our shield generator. This doesn't seem to be interesting. The energy usage is a bit buggy, or at least the display is. So let's get back down so that I don't have this thing hanging and then suddenly drop because I don't have the uranium for it. Well, I do. I just need to transfer it in. We're going to upgrade our reactors and also rework the interior a bit because I feel like we need to. So let's park up, get out. Hello. And we're going to... Well, no, not get out. We're going to deal with the interior first. Right, so in this interior... You know, we've got this kind of level here. We've got an assembler that we can get rid of if we feel like it. We've got an oxygen tank that we can get rid of if we feel like it. Also some lights. The batteries are going to be useful because they will keep capacitance. In fact, the batteries are being drained, which means that... Hang on, are they being drained? Hang on. Battery. Yes, hello. You're here. Oh yeah, you're all in automatic. They're going to be what's draining all the power, but that's only because we have power to spare. But no, that's good. I forgot there were batteries on this thing. Right, so first things first. We're going to want to upgrade our energy production. Yeah? Upgrade the energy production. We're going to want nuclear reactors. So first of all, we need to be able to connect them into the other reactor, and we want to connect them near the center because I'm going to do something with this gravity generator later. And maybe move the air vent to here? Yeah, that might be a good idea. Okay, so let's first of all get rid of this button panel. All right. The button panel is not necessary. Also, the gravity generator is not necessary. Anything with artificial mass is just going to get screwed around by this gravity generator. Oops. Don't fall. Stay in there. Right, and then we're going to get rid of this air vent. I can't tell what's load-bearing and what's not load-bearing, and it's painful. And we're going to stick the air vent over here. Right. Because it's better this way. So if we close all the doors, it should just pressurize the room, right? Yeah. We get pressurized, it's all good, and our oxygen tank has decreased a bit, that's all good, and we can, yeah, set to depressurize, because we don't want anywhere inside this ship pressurized. And it's not going to because we've got, what, an ice generator or something? Oxygen generator? Not pressurized, good. Yeah, so we've got this room. We can probably do something with this space. And we've got a cargo container here. What's that connected to? So that's connected to a remote control block at the back, and it's got a conveyor here. That conveyor, what are you connecting to? Two places there. That's the nuclear reactors. Yeah, it is. I see. And then back there is another oxygen tank. We can keep that. And we can keep this. Because that's currently holding all of the... What? Where are I? Oh, it's all in the assembler. Anyway, reactors. Let's go grab some steel. Thank you. And we're going to just place down a couple more reactors. We don't have to be able to access these guys by hand at all. So we're not going to. We're going to have them converge here because then we can have... we can place a reactor here, which means that we can access these three and have a fourth. And then we can place a conveyor down here. Yeah, I like the sounds of this. Just to increase the amount of reactors we have, because for some reason I don't think we have enough. Right, so add these guys to the build planner, grab materials, weld up what we can, and then go grab the rest. Now, every time I use the build planner to grab things from the base, it'll have a little freeze because it's looking for items down there. So we can hazard a guess at how that the algorithm to find where should I take the items from. We can hazard a guess in what way that works. And it's looking for conveyor distance usually. So it's going all the way to here, all the way down the mountain, and then over to the warehouse. So it might be a better idea to make to move a warehouse over to the other side as well. Right, let's weld these up. Need to, I think one more trip should do it, maybe. No. Reactor components are too big. Reactor components take up too much. I don't think we're going to have enough. Yeah, can't control the 5 motors. Sure. Right, and then whilst we're here, we're also going to grab some uranium. Uranium. How much do we have? We have 1,000 uranium. Yeah, I think that's fine. We're going to grab 100. Keep this thing stocked up so it can operate for quite a while. Okay, we can weld those up. And then we have room for one more reactor in case we need it, or another cargo container in case we need it. So if we stick... No, I'm keeping those. So we stick ourselves some uranium in here, and that should get fed into all the other reactors. If we have a look at our reactors, we're going to get rid of the numbers, because we don't need them. And they should all be able to output a reasonable chunk of power. We have room for additional stuff here if I care about it. Okay, so that's the interior. Now, we have the reactors, which means we have the power to move around and power the shield generator. The shield generator bit is going to be important. Let's undock. Get ourselves out of the shield so that we can start producing our own, and then see what our shield HP is. Because that's dependent on how much power we're producing. Also, the reason why I'll say a couple of minutes is because it's recharging the batteries, because they're not being used as much. Despite that increasing. Interesting. Yeah. Right, let's turn on our shield generator. And if we have a look at our... let's close that. Shield controller, we can see that we've got 366 max HP, which is pretty good. We're probably also going to want to add a shield modulator and a... I don't think we need a shield enhancer, because that's just going to increase the power drain from this. So we're taking 52 megawatts at the moment. Each of our reactors can support 15, which means that we can support 60 megawatts of that in total. You should be draining completely from reactors before batteries. How much are batteries draining? Yeah, you're being recharged. Oh, because each battery can only accept 12 megawatts. And we're producing more power than we're taking, apparently. What? But that doesn't make sense. Oh, right, yeah, you are using maximum. Well, some of you are. Okay, so we got ourselves a shield generator. Shield is reasonable in terms of the amount of stuff it can protect us against. Our gyros allow us to maneuver the ship in a sufficient way. And before we're going to stick some guns on this thing. Actually, yeah, let's stick some guns on this thing, and then we'll do a test of the autopilot, because I want to do that as well. Right, let's align ourselves to dock, shall we? Right. Get ourselves balanced. Move us over and forward. Unto dawn. Move ourselves. Yeah, I'm going to need... I really want a docking computer, like you would find in other sci-fi games. Right. Dumped us off. Dumped us on again, moves them to the side. Wiggle a bit so that we're straightened up, and... arc. Okay. Well, it's time to pick out some guns. Yeah, let's pick out some guns. I'm going to stand here. No, first of all, I'm going to refill my oxygen tank because I need to. No, don't fall off the platform. That's a bad idea. Right. Tank. Stick one in here. Grab one from here. It's all good. Okay, let's clear out our control 4. You need to enter the menu before you wiggle the mouse, otherwise the people are going to get seasick. Right. Okay. Okim Industries. Right. So we got ourselves a target designator. Not interested. Fixed. What's the... This looks interesting. Explosive and penetrator. It's an electromagnetic accelerator that launches explosive shells, launches uranium slugs, and that's quite the distance. I'm going to need to have a test of weapons at some point. Okay, now we're getting on to more reasonable things. We've got a CIWS, which is defense against rockets, I believe. Projectiles not as powerful as those fired by Gatling cannons, but the rate of fire and accuracy are much greater. Yeah. This is to deal with small fighter craft, like really small fighter craft, and drone and missiles. Because missiles, I believe, only need 1 damage and then they'll be removed. Burst cannon is for large grids. Small strike craft or sniping out enemy systems, and turrets can destroy light armor very fast but lacks penetration against heavy. 50mm burst cannon might be useful. Then we've got the 122mm assault turret, assault gun, which has a lack of range but high firepower and fire rate. Fire rate means it just consumes ammo. Deals heavy damage to light and moderate damage to heavy. And then we've got a storm gun, which is a support weapon at max range or a fighter deterrent at medium. Has limited arc and does not cover the rear of the turret at all. Then we've got a heavy missile turret, battle cannon, a battle cannon siege turret. Can cover all 360. That might be useful to stick on some of our towers. We've then got another designator unit. What's the difference? The large one has 3,500. This one has 1,500. Target designation for custom turrets or derelict locator. Interesting. And then we've got fixed variants of all of those, and then vehicle versions of all of those. I believe we're going to want vehicle versions, right? Yeah, that's the turret. That's the burst cannon. which we're going to want. Tears up small grids, which are what the drones are made of. Yeah, I'm going to want that. And that's a burst cannon, and then we want one assault gun. Right. Okay. Oh, these do... Yeah, they're small grid. That's why. Okay. Let's go grab the actual ones. So we want the burst cannon and the assault gun or storm gun? Hang on, I've got a better idea. Get rid of this. Right. We're going to compare the sizes, and we're going to compare it on the top here because we can. So we've got, starting at number 1, we have the CWIS turret. We can place that. This is what it looks like. Well, we're not going to fully construct it, are we? But we're not going to be using that because we don't want missile defense. We've then got a burst cannon, which looks reasonable. We can stick those on the side. Sniping out exposed systems and turrets. Yeah, we definitely want 2 of those. Right, so we're going to stick 2 burst cannons here and here. Get rid of this one. We don't need it. And then there's a storm gun. So that's storm gun turret. But the storm gun doesn't have much arc. That's burst gun. Right. This is the assault gun, which looks very similar, except it's got a larger barrel. Lack of range, moderate to heavy damage. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's just a bigger turret. Okay. And then we've got the storm gun, which we're not fitting on this. Then we've got a heavy missile turret, which we're also not fitting on here. And then we've got a battle cannon. We're not in a destroyer. We're in an escort. So let's stick with these weapons, shall we? And then we can deal with the... Hang on. Just for reference. Let's go over to here. Right. Hey, look, we've got a thing. It matches the range as we want it. We could just build like 8 of those and then have the central ones as no, okay, so we have the outer ones as Gatling turrets, so a mix of CIWS and burst cannons, maybe some assault gun turrets, and then we have 4 of these in the middle of each wall. Yeah. Jake, you're upgrading the military escort, not doing defenses yet. Chill out. Okay. Right. So let's... It says 50 millimeters. And 122 millimeters. These numbers are going to be relevant because I'm going to go in here. And we're going to access this. And now you can see that there's a bunch of different ammo things now, but yeah, so we're going to want 122 millimeter assault shells, which are a bit beefy. Right, let's add 100 of those. And then we're going to want some precision shells, which we're going to want to add a reasonable chunk of those as well. I mean, that's a sizable chunk of our inventory, but that's fine. Hang on. You're pulling from there. Ooh, hang on. LCD. We can go into quota ammo magazine, and it should be now in here. Yes. Right. I want 100 of these. 300 of those. And then the system should build it for me. Yes? He says. We'll check back to see if it actually does anything. Meanwhile, I need to build turrets. Right, I'm going to build turrets. Grab materials. Let's go. Okay, so these are the turrets constructed. I'm just colouring them in so that they don't look too gaudy. Yeah, they don't look like they are big or anything. I'm gonna need something to fire at. I am going to need something to fire at as target practice. Okay, well we can do that at some point. We just need to now grab ammunition, and we're also going to want to fit something here that allows us to grab ammo easier. Or I could add a connector at the back again. I could. But it was a really dumb place for a connector. Actually, no, it wasn't a connector. It was a gun turret. It was like a Gatling gun on the back. Oh, I turned off my jetpack. Okay. Yeah, let's do that, shall we? In here, we'll get some interior plates so I can place some things down, and then we'll grab the rest of the resources. One. No. No, it is going to need to be conveyor junctions. Conveyor junctions, and then a connector. Actually, we should only need this, and then that should be fine. Right. We right-click, grab things from cargo container, and apply it. What? You lied. Or rather, I wasn't paying attention. Both of those things can have happened. Right. I'm going to need to redo this at some point. But for now, we should be able to do this properly. Right. I'm going to want to rename this Tim Dock Enable. We're then going to need to rename the reactors so that they'll keep an amount of uranium here. Tim uranium 30. 30 uranium seems about fine. Right. Okay. Right, so let's undock. Interesting. I don't care. Undock. Get ourselves up. We're going to move ourselves over to the other side of the freighter. And we're going to dock with the freighter. Yeah, nothing could possibly go wrong with this, right? Because I don't have any other connectors on the base. I should really do something about that. Right, let's line up properly so that I'm not going mad. Like so. Increase height a bit. Hold Alt so that we're not moving anything bad. Move to the left. And move backward. Now, according to my calculations, right, we need to add the connector to 3 and 4 for switch lock. Right, we're going to lock in, which means that our reactors should now sit at 30. Oh, right, it's because the other connectors aren't enabled. Enable. Port 1 enabled. Port 2, port starboard. And we're on starboard 1. Is not enabled. Right, let's enable that. Unless I was wrong. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Yeah, this is the one connected, and it was 4 hours ago. Negative 4 hours ago. What? Oh, that. Hang on. Yeah. Must have left that on. Interesting. Okay. So we have that. Which means that in our inventory, our reactors should be fine. Show any inventories on my ship. Good. And there shouldn't be anything in the cargo containers. But they're trying to add stuff to the turrets. Okay. So first off, We're gonna want to keep the turrets like so because we don't want them to have ammo in while we're docked. However, we do want the cargo container. Which one? Where is it? Gatling missiles. Okay. We're gonna want this to be Tim something. I'm gonna want to do the same with the others. Actually, give me a second. Cargo, Tim. Might as well stick with the way that we've been doing it currently. Right. And you don't have anything, you're just a storage bay. Okay. So if we have a look at our LCDs, we have a look at our ammo magazine section. How much? Okay, so there is OKI 50mm, and we've got 2 turrets for that. So if we find ourselves the cargo, so we want 2 of them with that, and we're going to want 150 each, which means that they'll both try to carry 150. And then in the cargo, the other one, we want to get the LCD up again. We can get quota this time. Yeah, I don't think it will auto-create all of the ammo that we want. That's annoying. That is terribly annoying. Right, grab all of this. Thank you. And go back to the cargo. Stick it on here. Now, these might not be the exact locations. In fact, we can find out. On. Right, where are these located? Oh, I'm going to have to spectator. Too far. Look, that blue bubble is our base from underground. Right. Okay, one of them needs to swap. Cargo. Hang on, put these on terminal, turn that off so I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, this one is going to need to turn into one of these. Right, we'll do that. Okay, so cargo 2 needs to be the other kind. Yeah, I can do that. Cargo 2 needs to be the other kind, and that's 122mm ammo, and we're going to want 100 of that. Okay. Right, now that we've got that working, so if we have a look, we can see that we've got the 50mm on the left, 50mm on the right, and the 122 on the center. Cool. Now, we don't have any coverage to the stern of the ship, but I don't care particularly. I've got the hubris of someone who has access to quite a lot of bad things. Right, we're gonna also want to add these guys on HUD so that I can get port and starboard set up. Hang on. Cargo. Off HUD, off terminal. That should have done something. Right, okay. 3 is port, 2 is starboard. Starboard. Okay. So that's fine. We now just need to make an amount of ammunition, so let's go grab one of the main assemblers and get ourselves some 122 shells and some precisions. But we're now at a point where, well, I don't need to do a weapons test at the moment. We've got ammo, supposedly. Let's just do cargo. Yeah, so we got an amount of precision shells. and also some assault shells. This should be enough for everything that we need. If we go get our turrets, can I say don't use conveyors? Well, that's a bad idea, but use conveyor system off, recharge railgun. Ooh. Yeah, the assault gun's a railgun, isn't it? I'll have a look later. Right, yeah, we're going to add exempt on here. And then we're going to add the same onto the other ones. Which means that that should be fine, and then we can take the turrets off of HUD. Which I have done. I haven't. Right. Okay, now we're going to undock. We're going to get inside our ship proper. Get out. And we're going to go test the remote control. Ooh, yes, we have a remote control, don't we? We're also going to clean up all of this nonsense. The connector doesn't need to be on terminal, neither does the control station, and neither does it need to be on inventory. The assembler doesn't need to be here. The beacon doesn't. The beacon needs to be here. The tanks don't. The antenna, we're going to need to rename that. Hang on. We're going to need a name for the ship at some point. Now we've got small reactors, remove them. Okay, we have ourselves some turrets, which I can control and I can fire. Pretty good. We got ourselves a good amount of coverage. We can basically cover anything that would attack us from the top in this, which is good. Control 2, we're going to need to add control to each of these. Right, so I can press 2 and then I'm controlling this one. So if I fire here, the shield didn't detect it. Okay, if I fire at, let's say, this section of wall, or alternatively you don't want to. What's the rate of fire? That's a decent amount of fire. Or maybe the damage is... Hang on. Interesting. I have no idea whether that's doing damage. We'll test later. Or rather, I'll test later. Okay, remote control. Grab the remote control. So, according to my sources... Well, okay, so we can first of all remote control the ship. And we can also assign camera. Flight one way. Direction. Forward, speed limit. This, right. Add a waypoint. Oh, hang on. Remove the waypoint. Okay, we're going to go find ourselves the asteroid. What's the asteroid that we've currently got? We've got gold, iron, silicon. Okay, we're then going to go into the remote control, find ourselves the gold, iron, silicon. Asteroid... Gold, iron, silicon. Add that. Okay, so we've got this one. Setup actions. Supposedly does something at that waypoint. Right, and then we've got a laser tool. Oh, this is for laser tools. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So if I turn on autopilot. So it's going to keep us level with the ground as we go up. And it's going to stick at 25 meters per second. Ooh, that's fun. Right, let's increase that to 100 meters per second, which is the highest the remote control block can take at the moment. But once we get out of the gravity, it should reorient to where it should be. Yes? Now, despite the fact we're not using any power because this system is a bit weird. Yeah, despite the fact that we're taking in power and this is using power and whatever. We'll exit gravity at some point. We're on 0.5, we're on nothing, and so now we're going to go over to the asteroid. 100 meters a second. Right, let's see if I can increase that. Because now it's just not going to apply any thrust. Because, well, it's going to apply a bit. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, is there a way for us to make it so that it doesn't do that as much? Forward direction. Let's make us turn left. We're strafing. Okay. Yeah. The remote control block only allows 100. I'll try and find a mod that allows us to do something else. Remove. And then our inertia dampeners have engaged. Okay. Okay. So, according to my knowledge, I should be able to create a waypoint at my current location, right? Would that create it from... Yeah, it's going to create it from where I currently am. Okay. That's a pain. Because I want you to dock, but not land at the base site where that is. Okay. Because if I can get a waypoint that is close approach to base, then that's useful. Right, so if I decrease this by... If I decrease the Y, where's it go? It goes that way. Oh no, this does not seem like a sensible idea. I'm just going to go teleport down there. Do I have to teleport? Yeah, probably. Well, we're only 9 kilometers away. It should be fine. And the turrets are engaged in case we need to do anything about that. Yeah. All right. I'm going to need to enable creative mode for this. My apologies. Teleport myself here. If I teleported myself with... What the... What's this? Oh. That shouldn't be here. Interesting. You should not be powered. How do you still have power? Or alternatively, you don't want to be deleted. How much? You still got uranium. Okay. Let's just drop you then. Actually, let's do the sensible thing. Have myself stand here. Oh no. No, you apparently don't exist. Right, let's kill you then. Right, so let's get ourselves a GPS location here. And then we're going to go back to the... to here, because we've got the beacon. Where are you? There you go. Enter the escort, disable creative mode first. Right. We're then going to set the remote control to go to the waypoint that we've just set up, which is this one. Add that to the list and turn on the autopilot. Because if I can get this to work properly, and then I can upgrade the freighter, then I upgrade the freighter's ion thrusters to work in a better way, and stick a remote control on it, this means that I can automate the flight at least to above the base location. Now the question is, when you get to the waypoint that you're going to, how fast do you slow down? We may be about to lose all of our progress, by the way. Let's hope that that doesn't happen. Are you going to slow down? You're about to hit the waypoint. Oh, you are slowing down. Oh, yeah. That is so cool. That is really cool. And I haven't used it despite the fact it's been there for like years. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to go dock our military escort that has now been upgraded with weapons and what have you. Actually, before we go, it's probably a good idea to just do a weapons test, right? Right, I'm going to set up... I'm going to set up some target dummies. Yeah, set them up outside the shield. We'll set them up over here. Going to need creative mode for this. I'm so sorry, but... needs must be brought to bed. No, don't say that. That's only a meme. Right. So we got a pillar here, right? 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to add another. There. Right. We have ourselves some targets. Go and rename that to base site. Remove the old base site so that I can use remote control, return to base and what have you. Okay, let's move ourselves over. Navigate ourselves into this crater. Something just blew up. I did not notice what that was. And I don't seem to have any deformation. Oh no, yes I do. We got hit by something on the left. Might have been a bit of interceptor. They seem to be defying the laws of physics these days. Right, we are set up and ready to go. Let's just equalize ourselves. Actually, we are going to need a bit of forward. Okay. Let's double check our cargo. Yeah, we've got some 50s and we've got some 122s, so that's fine. Right, this is the 122. Yep, that's good. This is our port. No, it's not. This isn't port, this is starboard. Whatever. Right. I believe that's enough gun shooting. And then let's have a look at the damage. Right, so first of all, the railgun, or rather the assault gun, did some damage. That's actually a decent amount, because it's just sheared through the armor. We might have to get a better test area. This is from one salvo of the side guns that we've got, which is decent. It's not completely destroying the light armor, because, you know, we've got to have at least some ability to get stuff from it, but destroying turrets, we should be able to do so in a couple of volleys, or at the very least, one volley. Since they're not made of steel plate. That should be very good. And in addition, we can just set them to auto-fire and sit there in our shielded ship, and it should be able to deal with everything that we're going to come across. Lovely. So now let's just delete everything. There you go. And it was never there. The only reason why we don't have any is because... the reason why we know that we did it is because it's on camera, and also because we used ammo on it. Right. Okay, I'm going to go dock the Military Escort, and I'll probably give it a test spin as well. Between the steps... something else broke. What keeps hitting something? We've got something trapped in... We've got a component trapped inside. Yeah, give me a second. No, not that one. This one. Yes. Hello. We can get rid of that now. Trash removal. Other. Remove floating objects. Right, we shouldn't have that problem now. Oh, I've also got to repair that hull mount, because otherwise we lose a turret. Oh, that's going to be painful. And I also need to rework this dock so that we can have a connector. But until then, my name has been Zero Jake. End transmission.